This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on, and welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny
and Mike D. Here once again.
in the podcast bungalow, or the podcast bunker.
The basement bunker deep in the hills of Schuylkill County.
I was gonna say, can I buy that freaking thing off you?
What thing?
That
No.
That's good, man.
No, but I ordered them from Arkansas or something like that.
I would, if you don't mind, if I could, like later on, maybe I'll have another puff or two.
$15.
Okay.
No, that's how much they cost. When
Oh, I thought you meant.
No.
Whatever.
Anyway.
After all, I mean, you did make the smoked pork belly burn ends. Oh, they were so good.
That was our podcast fuel for today.
I mean, last episode, because we don't film multiples in a row.
Oh, no.
And I haven't been wearing the same clothes for weeks on end.
So, a little bit of housekeeping. Take on the World is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. Go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com and check out all the great shows on the network.
All of them.
Specifically, check out the Spotlight Podcast. And if you're listening to this in November, the Spotlight Podcast is Horsing Around, the Red Horse Podcast. These guys are hilarious. I love listening to them. Monsters, conspiracies.
You name it.
Yeah,
They got it all.
pretty much. I have listened to almost every episode they have. And enjoy every one.
And I'll say, like I said before, I'm tired of going down that YouTube rabbit hole where you're just sitting there like Cartman, like, and you don't know what to watch. Like, it's almost like, Netflix. You keep scrolling, you can't find anything you want to watch, but they always got something there for you.
There's always something at the Deluxe Edition Network for you to listen to.
Something to scratch that itch you've been wanting.
So, moving on.
What do we got today, Michael?
Well, you had sent me a video. Some dude obviously doesn't like Steven Segal.
Can we drop his YouTube handle?
Sure.
Space Ice. He's hilarious.
It is funny.
I just sat there. I think I watched every single one of them in there. He does a great job, so shout out to that guy. Check him out on YouTube. It's hilarious.
So John says to me, hey, we got to do a show on how much Steven Seagal sucks. How much his movies suck. And I'm like, okay, okay, we could do that. So, as I always do, I started researching Steven Seagal. And found out how much this dude is an alleged piece of shit. I'll be the first one to admit that I have watched and like most of the early Steven Seagal movies. 1988's Above the Law, 1990's Marked for Death, 1990 Hard to Kill, and 91's Out for Justice.
This is like
And if he stopped at those four, that would be fine.
Yeah, but oh no,
Everything after that, I think, is kind of.
This is like he is like the 500-pound Steven Seagal. Well, we'll get into that.
Well, 92's Under Siege was okay.
I did like Under Siege. You didn't join the Navy. What the hell does he say? Anyways, I'll think of it. I'll spurt it out later on.
But by 1994, I was like 24 years old, and I was not particularly politically fully aware at the time. And I remarked to myself when I watched On Deadly Ground, I just felt like Steven Seagal was shoving environmentalism down my throat, and I didn't really like or appreciate it.
Really?
Yeah.
Which movie was this?
On Deadly Ground.
Oh, my God. I haven't seen that one.
By 96, he was in Executive Decision. And the legendary Kurt Russell, one of my favorite actors, was in that movie. And I was like excited to see that movie. And Steven Seagal's tiny little part that he had in that movie was tropey, and his acting was less than stellar. So
you're gonna see a trend here.
So now you told me watch this guy's videos. So I watched them, and one of the movies he was talking about was Against the Dark. It was made in 2009. And it was a fucking shit show, dude. I made Nathan watch it with me. So I made Nathan watch it with me, and when we were done watching it, he's like,
Dad, what did you subject me to?
What did I just watch?
But did you feel better about yourself as a person, as a human being, after watching that?
I will tell you, I felt better about myself as a human being when I looked through his history and found out all the shit he has been accused of.
Oh, yeah.
Steven Frederick Segal, was born April 10th, 1952 in Lansing, Michigan. His mother once described young Steven as a frail and suffering from asthma. Doesn't make any sense. He was a puny kid back then, but he really thrived after the move from Michigan to California. So Steven Seagal is an actor, screenwriter, producer, martial artist with a 7-dan black belt in Aikido. He's a singer. He released 2 albums. I listened to songs from Crystal Cave and Mojo Priest, which is his album.
What do you think?
They're fucking horrible.
Are they?
He's a guitarist, an environmentalist, an animal rights activist, a reserve deputy sheriff, maybe, and he's a Putin lover.
Okay, I didn't know that about him.
Steven Seagal once referred to Putin as one of the world's greatest leaders. And various media have cited Steven Seagal and President Vladimir Putin as friends, and Steven stated that he would like to consider Putin as a brother.
How?
Well, this is all before all this crap happened.
How did he get wrapped up in that world?
Well, he reportedly has American, Serbian, and Russian citizenship.
He films all his shitty movies over there.
Probably. From 1996 to 2018, he has multiple women accuse Steven Seagal of sexual harassment or assault. And this is where the piece of shit comes from. So 91, he was filming Out for Justice. 3 women accused Steven of sexual harassment, and they settled out of court for $50,000 each.
Really? Oh my God.
Yes, and that was in 91.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that they didn't want to deal with a lawsuit. And he allegedly did something.
Sometimes it's maybe easier to just... listen, I did hear this a long time ago on the radio, and it was a famous basketball player, and he hooked up with this girl, I guess met her at the bar, brought her back to his apartment, and he claims as soon as he shut the door, she says, if you don't give me X amount of money, I'm going to go to the media and tell them that you raped me. And they're like, well, what did you do? He was like, paid her. it's just easier. He's like, I'm not going to ruin my career wrapped up in litigation and this and that. So, benefit of the doubt, maybe? I don't know.
Okay, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the first three.
For the first three, yeah.
Yes. So,
Okay.
in 1995, he was charged with employment discrimination, sexual harassment, breach of conduct, and accused of threatening and beating a woman during the filming of On Deadly Ground.
Jesus Christ.
The case was dismissed.
Listen to me, bitch. You're not claiming nothing.
Back to 91.
Could have slapped the daylights out of you.
4 other actresses claimed Seagal made sexual advances during late-night casting sessions. That's back to 91. Out for justice. 2010. There's a huge jump between 95 and 2010.
Yeah. What was he doing there?
Maybe he was in jail. I don't know.
Perfecting his skills?
Yeah, maybe he was just better at it. Allegedly engaged in sexual harassment, illegal trafficking of women for sex, failure to prevent sexual harassment, and wrongful termination.
Oh my God, what the hell's this guy dabbling in?
That lawsuit was withdrawn without explanation. In 2011, he was sued over his part in Maricopa County raid with heavy weapons and a tank for a resident who was suspected of cockfighting. And this is while he was taping for Lawman. A claim that an 11-year-old puppy was shot and killed during the raid. The case was withdrawn and dismissed. So apparently while he was taping The Lawman,
Yeah,
in Maricopa County,
right. The Lawman's his TV-made show where he's a cop.
well, it's one of them.
Oh, he has more?
Yeah, I think there's another one where he's in someplace else.
The puppy sustained blunt force trauma to the face. It
So,
was his front kick.
Apparently,
His nasty front kick that can not go higher than your shins.
I saw that in the video.
So it's perfect for a puppy. He tried to kick the bad guy, but he got the puppy instead.
That's horrible, dude. So they went on this raid, and to do something for ratings, he had one of those urban assault tanks, and like rode that into this fucking arrest for this guy who was under suspicion of cockfighting.
That makes sense. Nothing to bring a tank to a cockfighting.
In 2017, alleged sexual harassment during a movie audition. Alleged during an audition in Steven Seagal's office, told her how important it was to have chemistry off screen before unzipping his pants.
Oh. I want you to rub my sprayed on hairdo.
Alleged on the final day of shooting of Under Siege 2, Steven Seagal told a 16-year-old co-star, his on-screen daughter, that he had girlfriends the same age as her at 16 years old. There was a photo of Steven Seagal with his hand on a 16-year-old, is it Catherine Hagel?
Hagel?
He's standing there, and he's got his hand on her breast.
Ah, come on, Steven.
Now, hold on. I will say this. Sometimes pictures are captured in...
but this is like the 18th episode.
Yeah, I know. But
So, I'd like to see... Well, I don't want to see the picture, but I can only imagine if I did see it.
So now this suit came up years after the movie happened. Was this... November of 2017, a Dutch model.
Yeah, what you say?
What? Stated on Instagram
me.
that Seagal sexually harassed her years earlier. So here's something else that's interesting. His name is not pronounced Seagal.
Oh.
It's really pronounced Seagal.
Douche.
Yeah, they pronounce it douche, but it's spelled. But supposedly it's Seagal.
Okay.
But
Is that?
hold on. He went to a museum and he saw a Degas painting, and he liked the way Seagal sounds, so he made it Seagal.
Oh, why does that not surprise me? You know what? I'm just going to change my name.
You know what? Seagal sounds so much better.
Than
That sounds like
Seagal.
the greatest name ever.
Seagal, the Predator.
So in 2018, he was accused of sexually assaulting an actress.
Okay, I'm seeing where you're going with this, and you weren't kidding. Like, dude,
I'm telling you, dude. Like,
how? What is this? Like episode 20?
he is an alleged piece of shit.
I mean, I don't know. It's and then when you watch his shit and how arrogant he is, like,
Oh, this is the one that.
yeah, I can see that.
So, he tells this chick in 93. So she was 18 in 93. He it wasn't filed until 2018. She says she was 18 years old. She was invited to his house for a like a rap party for the movie. They were wrapping a movie up. They were having a rap party at his house.
Okay.
So she went. She showed up to his house, and supposedly, allegedly, Seagal raped her at his home. She showed up. There was no one else there except for Steven Seagal. In 2020, he had federal securities violations that he settled the case.
So he's just paying motherfuckers off left and right. Allegedly.
Allegedly. And he was involved in an extortion. He was an attempted extortion victim involving his former producer.
Look at these two names.
So his former producer had ties to the Gambino family.
Yeah. The one guy's name is Gambino.
Yeah, well. So
Julius. We're gonna read the names.
Well, it's former producer Julius Nasso. He's a Gambino family captain. Well, you had told me this story before. Do you want to go on this one?
Yeah. So I've heard stories of, like, how Steven Seagal tries to play that tough guy on TV, and behind the scenes and off camera, and then gets put in his fucking place. And so apparently, I don't know what they were filming. He was on set or somewhere with Gene LaBelle, famous wrestler, like oldie time wrestler, right?
He was working as a stunt coordinator.
Okay, so the guy's like a legit like wrestler, like.
So this happened while they were filming Out for Justice.
Okay.
LaBelle was a stunt coordinator.
Yeah, he's nobody to be toiled.
Hold on. In 91, now deceased LaBelle was working as stunt coordinator on the Aikido documentary Out for Justice.
Oh, okay. See, I'm jumping ahead here. Totally.
No. I want you to tell the story because you're the one who told me this.
Okay, so, I think it was, what did I say, Kevin Hart or somebody, and Steven Seagal claimed that you can't choke me out. There's no way you could choke me out. And Gene LaBelle was like, okay, well, let's try this. And he put him in a headlock, and he fucking choked Steven Seagal out to the point where he shit himself.
And pissed himself.
Yeah. And apparently, like, he ran away. He's like, I gotta go. He's like, I may have had an accident. And, like, how embarrassed, like, I don't know. So I totally believe that because it's been told by multiple. I think it was
Who's
Kevin Hart.
Who's the blonde guy that with he's always with he's always in the Happy Madison Productions.
Yeah, he was getting Waterboy.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. I actually saw him live.
Did you?
Yeah.
And they tell the same story. Actually, they have multiple stories. I don't know if you have them in here.
No.
We can go over them if you want. And but yeah, it just goes to show you, it's like, yeah, how like first off, his Aikido, that's an old legit form of martial arts, but it's meant to defend against when your last attack is you don't have your sword and somebody's coming at you with a sword. You want to do everything to deflect somebody with a sword. Okay? But anybody who's anybody knows you put a boxer in a cage with an MMA fighter, or vice versa. Like you have one, especially like Wing Chun, and you put him in with like a Thai boxer or Thai kickboxer, that guy's getting fucked up all day long. It's just, there's no, So I feel that that's like the same thing with Steven Seagal. He's like, oh, I'm just going to slap you to death. Like, this guy just like blocks you, puts you in a headlock, and you shit yourself.
Yeah, so either because there was a gag order or because in the stunt business what happens on a set stays in a step, LaBelle has never confirmed or denied this story. And in an interview, he said, we had a little altercation or difference of opinion. There were 30 stuntmen and cameramen watching. Sometimes Steven has a tendency to cheese off the wrong people. You can get hurt doing that. And that's the only thing he'll say about it. So to me, look, if you and me are talking, that's confirmation that this shit fucking happened.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to like the Joe Rogan Experience, so that's another one. But I think that's where I originally heard it. They had the actor who was on set with him with Gene LaBelle telling it on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I think even Joe Rogan's like, oh yeah, you know how Gene LaBelle is. He's like, yeah, but go look at that. I mean, why would you have to lie about something like that? It's just a funny story, and you look at the douchebaggedness of this guy, and you would say, yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah. So Steven Seagal has an extensive sword collection, and at one time had a custom gun made for him once a month.
Oh, okay. Let me guess. It's probably a 1911, because that's what he uses in all of his movies.
Is it?
Yeah. Or a Beretta 95.
So, before we talk about some of the stuff, these are all his movies that he's made or had some kind of credit on, whether it's a writing credit or a producer credit or an acting credit. And there's a shit ton of them here.
Yeah, he's made, no doubt, a shit ton of movies, but they're all awful.
And most of them were direct-to-video, except for Machete.
He was a Machete?
Yeah. Machete.
Huh.
Let me
Pretty
see.
terrible in that as well. I don't even remember him. That's how bad he was.
I don't know that I saw Machete. That was his first wide release since 2002. Machete, and he was an actor in it. That's it.
The Keeper. Hold on, let me read some.
But he was nominated for some awards.
From who?
What? It's
the world's worst movie makers?
Yes, they were Razzie Awards.
you
the Golden Razzie.
Yeah, you get a trophy. It's a turd.
Hold on, listen. He was in 1995 for On Deadly Ground. He was nominated for Worst Actor.
I love it.
He was nominated for Worst Picture and Worst Director, and he won Worst Director.
Oh my god, he totally is. Now listen, you have to, if you're interested and you want to have a good laugh, watch Space Ice reviews of Steven Seagal movies.
Oh, it's funny as shit.
And then he also does, like, he compares Van Damme to Seagal, and he loves Van Damme, and he hypes him up, and it's funny because it's cheesy, but Van Damme's movie, Seagal's later movies are fun. First off, he runs like a girl, and they constantly bring that up. He's like, I don't run like a girl. And like, you totally run like a girl. Like, your hands are like weird like this, like, and
now that you said that, I picture it.
Oh my god, I think it was Marked for Dead. That was his classic like running scene, and The one where he's training and he's like, he gets that girl, he puts her in hiding, and he's like running up and down the hill. I can't remember which one was Marked for Dead. I think that was the one.
That's Marked for Death.
Marked for Death, but it's fucking hilarious. It's embarrassing, to be honest with you.
So for Executive Decision in '97, he was nominated for Worst Supporting Actor and Worst Actor. Fire Down Below in '98. Worst Picture. Worst Screen Couple.
Oh my
shared
God.
with his guitar.
They're all worst.
Worst Original Song. Half Past Dead in 2003. Worst Actor. Nominated. He only won one. So that
What was his winning victory?
Worst Actor.
So he never won.
Or Worst Director.
He never won anything like fairly good movie.
No. So here's the movies. So Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice are the ones that I've always liked.
I think everything after Under Siege
Yes.
was shit.
Yeah, pretty much so. Under Siege 2, Executive Decision. When that first came out, I was excited that it was coming out. Steven Seagal was in it. Kurt Russell was in it. And I'm like, okay. And then it came out, and like Steven Seagal's in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that is on par with his movies nowadays. So, like, first off, he claims that he taught Anderson Silva that famous front kick.
See, I had that in here, and I don't know where the fuck that shit is.
But when you look at his movie, maybe when he was in the 90s, but he didn't train him then. He can't get his leg up above your ankle.
So Silva confirms that he did train with him.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely did. There's video of it, this and that. But they're saying that, like, Anderson Silva's, like, doesn't even really speak English that well. And he says, you know, he's such a nice guy that he just, I trained with him. Yeah, he did that, whatever. He's not going to deny it or confirm it. So, it's bullshit. You watch him fight Steven Seagal, and it looks like the fake martial arts.
Well, here's what I want you to do. If you're listening to this on a podcast, go to YouTube, look us up, go to our YouTube channel, watch this. I don't know what time mark this is, but I'm going to put up a video from one of his movies of him fighting, and a video of one of the Bullshido, because we did an episode on Bullshido, and we mentioned this guy. We showed this clip, and I want you to look at this clip, and I want you to look at Steven Seagal fighting, and tell me if that's not the same exact shit.
Yeah, you know, I think Aikido is a legit sport or martial arts. So is Wing Chun. So is I think what the Buddhist monks practice is Wing Chun as well.
Yes.
But when you watch a Buddhist monk or somebody who knows Wing Chun goes into a ring with somebody who knows boxing, kickboxing, they get the fuck beat out of them. They look like fools. They look like morons. And it's the same thing. I think if he went in the ring, you can do all this slap bullshit, you're going to get knocked the fuck out, pal. But not only that, his one asshole move, too, that everybody says on set with him, is he goes like full throttle, like showing you things. And there's multiple videos of it where he's showing you a move, you're just supposed to go slow. And he just chops the ever-loving fuck out of the dude's neck and like knocks him out. That's like cold cocking somebody.
I was going half speed, sorry.
Yeah. You should have manned up. Sorry, my dick's too hard. I don't know slow speed.
So the funny thing about the one video you showed, he goes, here's Steven Seagal, still walking. And somehow it's to Nintendo music.
Yeah, and here comes Steven Seagal waddling down the hallway to Nintendo music. It's like, his music starts, and like all his.
See, now I watched that movie, and me and Nathan watched it, and he's walking. It's an hour and a half movie. He's walking for an hour and 20 minutes.
I doubt that. It's probably not even him. Like all his movies.
Well, no, through an hour and 20 minutes of the movie, all they show him is walking. Every once in a while, he'll take a swipe with his flimsy plastic sword.
Well, if you notice, like, all his movie, when he's, this is the older Steven Seagal, where he's fat and he's trying to wear, like, a trench coat to cover up his big gut. He's got a sprayed on fake hair. And the one movie, he didn't even fucking get up. He got up, like, twice in the movie. And every other scene where he's walking up the stairs, they use a stunt double. And they never show his face. And they constantly dub over his voice for God knows why. And, but the one video, it's like his voice kept changing, or the one movie, his voice changed like 4 or 5 different times. And you could tell it does not sound like him. And all his movies are like the same. It's like somebody gets kidnapped, he's got to fly over to another country, but instead of concerning himself with that, he goes to the strip club. He falls in love with the local, stripper, and then they go do their own thing. The stripper betrays him, and then he kills everyone, and then gets the person who was stolen back. It's like so predictable, or has no plot or whatever. Just complete garbage.
Well, even when Glimmer Man came out, which is also in '96, I'm like, oh, Glimmer Man, another. And I watched.
But it doesn't even say Glimmer Man. It says the Glimmer.
No, it's split 2 pages.
Oh, okay.
It's. I'm like, oh my God! Why did I pay money to see this?
I want my fucking money back.
Give me my $12 back.
So, like, scroll down, like, towards the bottom.
Fire Down Below sucked. Patriot sucked. Exit Wounds, I didn't think was 100% horrible. He was horrible in it, but
He's horrible in everything.
The rest of the movie wasn't. Out for the Kill.
Clementine, Into the Sun, Submerged. Today You Die. Pistol Whipped.
How far do you want me to go down?
Honestly, I didn't think he made this many movies.
All direct to video.
But his movies are all the same. He's like some fat and he's always special forces. And then it's funny too because like they showed a map of his one. He's always changing like his accent, and even when he's in his Lawman series, they're like, dude, it's like when you talk to a white guy, you're like, how you doing, bud? Come on over here. Let me search you down. And then he talks to a Asian person. He's constantly bowing to him. And he turns to a black person. He's like, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Come on, yeah, I know the white man pushing you down, pressing you. And it's like, dude, who are you? And he's in the one movie, I can't remember which one it is, which terrible fucking movie, I lost count. But he's looking at a map and he's got a knife and he's like, yeah. And he has like a southern accent. He's like, I think we're gonna go over, attack right about here. You're like, yeah. And the Space Ice guy goes, and all of a sudden, Steven Seagal, for some reason, turns into Cartman. And, yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's so fucking funny. I'm glad it's there. And I'm glad he's so terrible so I can, like, get this comedic relief from him.
But like I said, I the first 4 movies I liked.
I agree with you.
Like,
because he was a shit back in the day, but I think we didn't know.
And I'll still watch him. Like, even knowing he's a shitbag, those first 4 movies, when he goes into the pool hall in, he plays Nico in, Above the Law. When he goes into the pool hall and he beats the fuck out of everybody in that pool hall, I love that. I love that scene.
But his fight scenes now are just atrocious. Like, you can tell, like, they're just like replays, like old Van Damme movies. Like, he threw a guy out a window and they shot it from like 16 different angles and replayed it like 5 times, and that was like a third of the movie because he can't come up with enough content to make an hour and a half movie, so he just fills it with filler bullshit. And then every room they're in that he fights, he slaps the guy to death and destroys the entire room, throws him in everything. And also,
on that video, I just watched that video again. The one where I guess he gets it. His wife gets mugged, and the mugger end up dying, and he goes to jail for 6 years because you were in special forces.
Yeah, it's always special forces.
And then he gets out, and then he gets mugged again for real. And he kills the two guys. He goes, then he steals his car to cover up the fact that he stole his car.
Yes. He committed a crime to cover up the crime, the fact that he committed the crime. It's like, yeah, he has this, like, the plot's so stupid. But then
they said apparently the police don't have to go around anywhere. They all come to the same parking lot.
Yes, yeah. Like, he's in the middle of nowhere and all the cops show up. And when he has his shootouts, like, half the time, I'm not kidding you, Mike, he's, like, pointing the gun, like, behind him like this, just shooting on the run with the gun, not even looking, or when he shoots, he's like closed-eyed, and somehow...
But I remember in those first 4 movies, I remember someone telling me he actually holds the weapon right, and
he's an avid shooter.
Clears the room properly. That's in the first 4 movies. I don't know. I'd have to go back.
I think he's so full of himself right now.
Back then, I never really looked at that
he's
shit.
So cocky. I think he really does believe that, he can walk into a strip club and pick up some hot Asian, chick. But she's going to fuck. And it's like, dude, like, you couldn't pay me enough to fucking, kid. As a woman. As a woman actor, there's probably no way you could pay her enough that she's like, I'm actually got to make out with him. And he probably eats like, yeah, I'm so hot.
I eat onions and garlic before I kiss you.
Right? Yeah. Just took a giant shit. Forgot to wipe. There's no toilet paper, so I just use my fucking Aikido hand.
What was the one you told me about him reading the movie script?
Oh, it was Rob Schneider. He says, I was working on this movie with him, or just something on a set. And he walks out of his trailer, and he goes, I just read the greatest script of all time. And Rob Schneider says, oh yeah, who wrote it? He goes, I did. Like, really? And then that's how he is. And what was the one? He was on he was on set, and it was like a boat. And, they're like, don't go that way, you can't go. He's like, I'll go whichever way I want. And he did something stupid. He ended up opening the door, and he walked off of the stage into the water. Yeah. Because he didn't want to listen.
I'm going to change.
Yeah. And have you ever seen his cop show? What's it called?
The one was The Law. I think he had 2 cop shows.
Lawman.
I think he had 2 of them.
He's down in Louisiana, and he's talking with the southern accent. He's like, "What's up, brother? How you doing?" I can't do a Louisiana accent. And but I remember they're like, in the beginning of the rolling credits, he's like, "Yeah." He's like, they're like, "Look at the Seagal vision," and they go, and they do this weird thing where they zone in on something. He's always said, watch the hands. You always got to watch the hands.
Yeah, it's lawman. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, you know what? Kind of that makes sense. Yeah, because... but he's still a douche. What's with the yellow sunglasses?
Oh, you can see better at night with them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Are you that gay? You gotta wear. You're so important and so tough.
Well, why's it gotta be gay to wear yellow sunglasses?
You gotta wear yellow. So you're so tactical. You gotta wear yellow sunglasses 24/7.
Well, you never know when you're gonna draw your weapon.
You never know when you're gonna draw your weapon and shoot over your shoulder backwards.
So,
I don't know. Can we trash him more?
I don't think we can.
I mean, how much more can we say that, Steven Segal, if you're listening...
Hold on, what I found when you brought this up, I thought we were just going to talk about how shitty most of his movies were. But then I read all this other stuff, and
you found out what a shitty person he was.
he's just a shitty person.
Yeah, he's like a fucking, like, I can do no wrong.
Allegedly.
No, you look at his attitude. He's definitely like that.
I'm just saying that he has no convictions. Allegedly.
Oh, what? There's a zombie movie that he's in.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That it's so dark that you can't even see him for like 3/4 of the movie.
That's the one that I watched.
Yeah, and then he's got that flimsy sword.
Right. So, you have these zombies in this whole movie. Don't say a fucking word. And then towards the end of the movie, like the last 15
They're
minutes,
like all smart.
all of a sudden, yeah, we know where you're going. We know what you're going to do. We know we could do this and we could do that. We organize. Like, the zombies talking to the lady.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
The plots are terrible. It's... But then, you know what? We do gain from this such cheesy, like, so bad. And I wanted so more from that one guy. He only has so many videos, but I want more.
See, I've always looked at and evaluated every movie I've seen based on the time that they were made. Okay? So I don't try to take Star Wars from 1978 and try to stack it up against the special effects they have now. Okay?
Right.
I rate it for the time that it was made. And I think I've taught Nathan to do that. Nathan looks at movies for the time that, okay, that's an 80s movie, so this is how things work. Okay.
Right.
But his movies just, it doesn't matter what era they're from.
I think you're just, at this point, he's just cranking them out for God knows what reason. Maybe to pay off all his fucking lawsuits. And
regardless of how bad the movie is, he's still got a name.
Is he married?
I think at one point he was.
I think he had a lawsuit with that chick, too.
I don't know.
It's like, dude, give it up, Steven Segal. You're not tough. One of the movies, he ended up like divorcing his wife or something because she was balding or whatever. And the guy's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This was you 20 years ago." He was balding 20 years ago.
I don't know. Yeah, supposedly married to, can't even fucking pronounce that name. Airden Tuna.
Airedale Tuna.
He's married to Bumblebee Tuna.
He is father of 7 kids.
They preface and say Steven Seagal is not having an affair with anyone presently.
Oh my god. Oh, his sexual orientation is straight.
He's 70 years old.
Yeah, he's up there. Like, who? You're not fooling anybody, dude. I want to see what his real hair looks like.
Like, own the baldness, bro.
Yeah, like, just shave your fucking head. Admit that, like, you're 70 years old. You can't kick.
There it is.
Admit you can't. Yeah. And, like, all his shit, like, he doesn't hit anybody in the movies. It's all, "I'm gonna patty smack you in the face till you fall over from tiredness." I just thought that we needed some kind of comedic shout out to. What if he got back to us? Like, "I will fucking kill every last one of you."
Steve, here's my address. Stop by.
Yeah. Come on the podcast with us.
If I could figure out how to get people and interview him.
He just seems like a narcissist to me.
Yeah.
For legit. Like, I'm badass. I mean, and he did have, like, the legit. He was the first American to have to be able to, I guess, teach Aikido or had his own dojo in Japan.
There's some.
Oh, is there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
So the dojo that he was involved in over in Japan was his wife's. He was married to some chick.
Okay.
And it was his wife's father's dojo. And he didn't actually own it. He was just
showed up one day?
He was just teaching there. And when he says about training all these guys, what was the only dojo in Japan that would train Americans because it was an American trainer.
Right.
And that's how that happened. And he basically ran it into the ground and then came back to the United States.
Oh, no, his story's falling more and more to the wayside, man.
Started another family and opened a dojo in the United States, and that started failing. That's when he got into the movie business, doing stunts and stuff, doing stunt coordinator shit. So, yeah and no.
Okay, I didn't know that. That even cements harder into the ground what a D-bag he is.
Can't reach it. Anyhow, that's Steven Seagal.
Oh, yeah.
Shitbag of the year.
Shitbag SOB of the year. And
allegedly.
You see for yourself, and you'll know real quick. Are you on Steven Seagal's side, or Seagal, or are you on the rest of the world side?
Me?
Not you, our listeners.
Oh.
All 5 of them.
Comment below. I expect 5 comments because there's 5 of these listening. So we took on Steven Seagal. You go take on the world. No Seagal movies.
This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
You want to be my wife? Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.